I've been wanting to do a video like this for a while, dealing with reptilians. I was reluctant to talk about reptilians because people don't believe in such things or they don't think such things exist. Reptilians exist through folklore. They exist through myth, but most of all, folklore and myth is nothing but expressions of the truth. Reptilians been here longer than humans. Reptilians been here before humans. So if you check any ancient history or historical facts or any historical walls or any historical research or any historical artifacts, you see a lot of reptilian, serpent, snake, reptile activity. A lot of snake worship, reptile symbolization. When you see that, that means that that was a fact. The world was a reptilian world at a time. And who knows what happens between the reptilian and the introduction to the human or the Homo sapiens sapien on the earth. And it's just been a battle between those two, with one having a soul and another one not actually having that, because the sun is inside of you. And when they have to go outside of themselves to even feel the sun or know what the sun is, then they can't do what you do. But in other words, what I'm saying is the human being has taken over the place of the reptilian walking on the surface and also living in this reality. We have reptilian artifacts and ancient artifacts dating way back as far as Sumeria, stating that the sun that we have is not even our sun. That is the reptilian sun, and it's not ours. So a lot of things that when you look in the Bible, when you look at ancient Egyptian folklore, and you look at all of these reptilians, Apep, and all these other reptiles that come throughout Egyptian history and all the way up through Sumerian, it was always some type of reptile, uh, alligator, reptile god, which meaning that when you look inside of everybody's brains, we all have reptilian in our head, all of us. We all have reptilian brains. So for that fact alone, it was something between the reptilian and the human. That is the reptilian and the human that is interdimensionally linked. So then let's go back to blood sacrificing and rituals. Blood sacrificing and rituals are done to bring some of those entities that are reptilian, that are living in the fourth dimension, which no longer live in this physical light, that we live in a third dimension and we're moving to the fourth, but we're living in the third, and by the third and fourth dimensions being merged due to the 2012 Aquarian age coming up and the Gregorian calendar ending or the Mayan calendar ending, it's merging two worlds together. In other words, with the Aquarian age coming, it's bringing us into another dimension. That dimension is bringing us closer to seeing what has been oppressing or triggering humanity to be the way that they are, and that is the reptilian. Because they were then elevated or moved to the fourth dimension. The only way that they can come through here is to demonically possess you in order to live in this physical reality. In order for them to come from their fourth dimension into this fourth dimension, they have to possess your physical body. When they possess your physical body, then they can walk on this world. And they can walk in this world manifested through a lot of blood sacrificing and a lot of souls being lost. A lot of energy can bring them into this reality. But the easiest way for them to come into this reality would be through bloodline and demonic possession, as far as to how to get here. And what they do is how they do it, because I know it sounds weird, it sounds crazy, is they go through all the world leaders. They mostly go through world leaders. Some rogue reptilian entities can get into just random people. But nonetheless, they really target celebrities and politicians, because then they can run your world from their world if they possess a physical person in this world. And then people look at that as what folklore, which is the Bible. I know this sounds crazy, but then, come on, truth is it's stranger than fiction, man. Uh, it is. Um, how they get to possess people is through blood sacrificing, through this what people call the Illuminati, whatever. I don't, whatever. They get that through blood sacrificing, and they also get it through bloodline. So in other words, if you got some type of different type of blood, like Rh negative, or some type of blood line that they can get that's rare, that bloodline is then passed down, and then you can, it depending on how many sacrifices and rituals you did, or compare if you're privy to that knowledge, or if you're in a position of power, then you can be possessed by them so easily. That's why Queen Elizabeth and all of these other the royal families, they so tightly knitted, because they don't want to mix the bloodline with the wrong type, that then they won't be able to keep up what they needed to keep up when it's time for them to be possessed, because all of them become possessed. And mostly all of the world leaders, the Obamas, the presidents, anytime somebody step into the White House, that's it, it's over. Demonically possessed, they done. They liable to say anything, do anything, whatever, and you would not even know, because you thinking in your little world, because we all stuck in our worlds and we don't want to research and go outside the fucking box. We will constantly get a foot on our neck because we don't understand what's all around us, and it's the craziest shit. Now what as it relates to religion, because see, this is what I'm saying, how as it relates to religion, because that is the problem. Religion tells you in some forms, gives you clues about reptiles and snakes and satanic things, but it's only a reenactment of what religion and all of this is only a reenactment of the ancient sciences. The ancient sciences that they took their literature from to create the Bible is the same literature and folklore that they took out of Kemet, which is nothing but science explaining what is going on with the physical body, the world around you, and the demons and the entities in it. Now, by it being taken over by a perverted group, it is a perversion of what reality states, and it is a perversion of what's going on, but yet the truth always comes through. Now, I'm not going to say it's completely true. The Bible is. I'm not saying that, because I don't mess with that. But I don't even go with that book like that. I just know it's certain clues in there that tells you things. And in that book, even in the beginning in Genesis, when they talk about a snake, the snake would have had to been walking on 2 feet, and it would have had to been standing upright, right where it could look directly, or be taller than Adam or Eve. Because when God supposedly came and saw that snake or devil or whatever, reptilian, this is just a story. You got to look at stuff, and it's allegory, and you got to look at it as a symbolization of the overall picture. The devil in this situation is a reptilian, a form of a reptilian that wasn't evil but wise. And that entity that supposedly created Adam and Eve was a dictator, rude, jealous entity. Whether it's reptilian or whatever it was. When Eve went to talk to that reptile, this is when the God took the legs away from the reptilian. In other words, you will be cursed to crawl on your belly for all the rest of your days. But if it was always on its belly, then God wouldn't have to curse it to be crawling on its belly. So that means it had legs. And if it had legs, it was walking. And if it was walking, it walked up to Adam and walked up to Eve and talked to her. Now, when we have pictures and old photographs and old pictures and old depictions of reptilians, they are humanoid. They have legs. They're walking. All of these things is what I'm trying to tell you, what these books are saying, but they're saying it in story form and in code. True indeed, there is a good and there is an evil. There's a spiritual battle going on. But the way that it's being told in Bibles and books is off and wrong. And so that we look at it like a story and we think it's just one man and the devil and Satan get behind me and all of that. When you saying that, what are you saying? Inside of your brain, behind you, behind your head, when you're saying Satan get behind me, when you say that, now, because this is what I'm saying. If Satan, listen, you gotta think deeper. If Satan was supposedly to be a reptile, then ask yourself, when you sitting there saying Satan get behind me, and then behind in the back of your head is a reptile inside of your brain and in everybody's fucking brain. And if you don't believe me, just do your due diligence and just look it up. Look it up. Read it. R complex. It's called the R complex. It's called the reptilian brain. Now, if the snake was supposed to be symbolization of Satan, and you got behind you, because you looking this way, but behind your head, right here behind you, is a reptile. Inside your head, behind your head. So saying Satan get behind me when it supposedly was symbolization of a snake, literally you just saying what's already there. Homeboy, it's in all of us. It's both sides, the battle between good and evil, and the ideal, or to be accessed, to be possessed, because you have the necessary things in your DNA and inside of your head to be possessed. Because if the reptile in the Bible was a reptilian, people scared of snakes, well, why you got a reptile component in your brain? It's in the back of your head. So that means we merged in some type of way. We together. Or you wouldn't have that. You wouldn't have it. You would just be straight mammalian. You wouldn't have no reptilian part in your brain. And to have that in your brain means you're rigged, because not only the reptilian part of your brain is in there, but it's also attached to your whole nervous system. So without the reptilian part in your brain, you wouldn't even have a nervous system. And then it controls everything: fight or flight, winner takes all, and survival. Arrogance and ego, it all comes from the reptilian brain. Arrogance, egotistical shit. I'm the winner, you can't win, I win. What's my name, what they call me? That's reptilian. So when you saying Satan get behind me, you acting like that. Look at the traits that the reptilian part in your brain hold. Look it up. And look up R complex and look at the traits that the R reptilian part of your brain holds. Just look at it. Look up R complex or reptilian brain and its traits. And everybody got a reptilian in their brain. Look up the traits. And the traits that it depicts is what everybody's acting like. Now you got a whole big ass brain up here, and you got a small piece of a reptilian brain. But that small piece got everybody acting just like it. All the other part of your brain, you ain't using it. You ain't using it. So when people be talking about we only use 15% of our brain, yeah, we do. And they probably, scientists ain't gonna tell you the truth. They never do. We probably just only using the reptilian part of our brain. We probably use little other pieces that go with it, and it only add up to 15 to 10% of brain usage. But when you look at the reptilian brain and the traits that the reptilian brain holds. Look up reptilian brain and then look at the traits. And you tell me don't know everybody act like that. Everybody's acting like that. Everybody acting like that. So when you be saying Satan get behind me and the devil was a snake and this is a snake in the reptilian, look at how everybody's acting and then what's in the back of your damn head. Look at the sports. Look at everything on TV. Then ask yourself at all the traits that the reptilian holds in his mind, in his brain. You have it too. So when you talking about good, yeah, you got both good and evil inside of you. And how do you get those things triggered? By what you see, by what you read, and by what you believe. That's why it's always got to be by what you know. Because if I don't know nothing, then it don't exist. If I don't know nothing, then it means it don't exist. If I'm not finna say, well, it's the this or the that. I ain't seen it. I don't know. So I'm not finna say what it is. I'm not. All I know is I know what's in my brain. And I know it says it's a reptilian. We got all that in our brain. It's factual. It's some shit that's you touching. It's right here in your body. But you looking outside of yourself for Satan when it's in your damn body. And what was crazy about it is because we both good and evil. Everybody is. You know what I'm saying? And inside your reality is what you make to be good and evil. You decide you want to do some fuck shit, then that's what happens. You decide you want to do something good, then that's what happens. So my whole thing is, I don't know, man. I don't know. I look at it like this. People don't want to believe in things. They want to use religion to explain away stuff when it don't do nothing but further confuse you, because at the end of the day, when you look at the overall thing, it's a spiritual warfare. That's all it is. And manipulating others knowledge and manipulating other stuff, and then you coming out putting it in different books is only furtherly confusing the people. If you know, before any book was written, before any Bible or all this stuff was written, there was the reptilian written on all of the ancient walls all over the world. Before there was a book written about any snake, there were snakes written about on walls all over the world. Snake looking people, not just snakes. Snake looking people. And then you ask yourself, well, how do we got a piece of a reptile snake in our brain? And then in the ancient world, they had nothing but snake looking people walking around with the regular people on the earth. Then you ask yourself, well, how I get mixed with some reptilian stuff in my head? Okay. Why am I blaming something, blaming it on some old cartoon character Satan when it's been put in my head? And I'm going crazy because the whole world, it's like don't nobody want to look what's inside of their own self. Do the anatomy, do the knowledge. You know, you took biology, but they ain't never put that in biology class because they don't want you to know. Do the damn due diligence and finding out for yourself, because that's the best thing you can say to people. Because all of that trying to tell somebody something, you just want to keep talking about the same shit over and over again and never change the narrative. If a person don't get it, fuck them. They ain't got to get it. If a person don't want to do no research, fuck them, man. You know what I'm saying? You can't save everybody to want to even try to get that knowledge. If they don't want to get it, fuck them. Don't even waste your time sending memes and stuff and downing other people. They don't care. They don't want to care. They don't give a shit. So only do it for the people that give a shit, man. Only do it for the people that give a shit. Because intelligent people always gonna sound crazy. But it's be the ones that think that they're intelligent depicting on what they say. Now they'll turn around here and say, look, a person to say I sound crazy, right? What I'm just saying about the truth. Now we all got reptilian parts in our brain. The truth is reptiles been written about all over the world way before Bibles or any books. It's the truth. But I sound crazy. And then you want to sit here and say, Jesus. And ain't no proof that motherfucker walked around. Now, you want to sit up here and say I'm crazy. This is not no emotional thing. This is not no word of mouth. Reptilians are written all over the walls, all over the world. And you got reptilian in your fucking brain. This is fact. It ain't no goddamn shit where I guess. No, it's a fact. So then you ask yourself, what is the Bible talking about when it's talking about somebody walking up to a woman, snake talking to her, and then we all got reptilians in our brain. We was mixed with something a long time ago. So what is you saying? It wouldn't be in your head if it wasn't. It's in everybody's fucking head. Reptile.